I think it's safe to say we're all expecting big things out of Auburn's wide receivers this year.
There goes Davis. Oh my God! Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game.
Hello and welcome to this episode of War Eagle Weekly. How we doing, Josh?
Doing pretty good, man. My youngest just graduated preschool today, so we've been celebrating with her today.
Time sure does fly, man. Just absolutely crazy, right?
I hate it. They grow up too fast.
Well, yes, they do. Well, hey, let's jump right on in. And before we get going, though, everybody, don't forget, go to our affiliate link below and go to fanatics.com for all of your new Auburn gear. Helps us out a little bit, provides a little bit of kickback to us. We greatly appreciate it. Josh, let's dive right into this week's episode. We are talking about Auburn's wide receiver room post-spring and pretty much all the hype that is surrounding this room right now, because there is a lot of hype right now.
Oh, there is a ton of hype. I have seen so many videos, specifically of one receiver in particular, so many videos of our wide receivers just cooking everybody on the field. I don't know if it's because our wide receiver room is so special or our secondary is lacking in some aspects, but either way, all the videos I see of our wide receiver room looks special. I'm hoping not. I'm hoping we're just that good.
Yeah. Because our defensive backs, it's been one of our strengths the last couple of years, last few years, dating all the way back to Gus Malzahn era. So you got to imagine our defensive backs are well equipped to handle some wide receivers. But like you said, the wide receivers are cooking them, man. And really, the only person we lost this year that provided any kind of production was Keandre Lambert-Smith. And we brought in Eric Singleton Jr., the highest profile wide receiver in the country, in the transfer portal, should I say, coming in as the number one transfer wide receiver in the country. He finished with 700 yards, 54 yards and 3 touchdowns last year at Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is not a passing school. And so you got to be impressed with those numbers. And honestly, those numbers at Auburn would have been impressive.
Oh, no kidding. Especially last year, man. It's just when you think of Georgia Tech, like you said, it's not typically a thought you have when it comes to wide receivers. But everyone knows how good Eric Singleton can be. Everyone's seen the footage of him just blowing by everybody on any of his routes. He catches just about everything you throw at him. I mean, he's a little bit on the shorter side, but when you're as passionate about catching the football as Eric Singleton is, it's just going to come naturally.
Yeah, ask Steve Smith if being a tall wide receiver matters, because that dude was not a tall wide receiver, and he cooked plenty of defensive backs in the NFL. So not only does Eric Smith join us, but we also got an addition of Horatio Fields, who again comes from a historically running school in Wake Forest. Last year had just under 500 yards. Again, if Auburn had a receiver with these stats, we'd be stoked out of our minds for this. Horatio Fields, a bigger wide receiver, 6'3", 205 pounds. But I would imagine that he is going to have a bigger role this year than a lot of people think. Personally, I have nothing to support this, just a feeling.
I don't know if he is or isn't. I think he's going to be more of a support player. I don't think he's going to be a start. He's definitely not going to get starting minutes. He's definitely going to have a role on the offense. There's no debating or doubting that. But when it comes to everybody else that we have in the wide receiver room, it's really going to be hard to find him a more involved role over the other younger guys that have more upside, in my opinion.
And that could be the case. I don't think it's going to be the case. They brought him in for a reason, and I think that they have a plan for him. I think it feels like he is going to kind of assume some of your tight end sets whenever we had Rivaldo Fairweather lined up outside last year. It just kind of feels like Horatio Fields fits that mold, and man, I'm hyped for him. I have a good feeling about him. I think he's going to be a great addition. But another player that
you think he's going to play tight end?
No. I'm saying that last year, I think there were. It's a kind. I would imagine in Hugh Freeze's offense, there's like flex positions where it's the wide receiver or the tight end that lines up in the slot or in a certain position in the formation, not on the line, but out wide. And I think last year, the last 2 years, we've had Rivaldo Fairweather take that position. I think Horatio Fields may fill in those wide receiver positions this year, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
So another player that I think every Auburn fan is ecstatic to see again is Malcolm Simmons. I'm saving the best for last, by the way, personally. But Malcolm Simmons, who was electric to say the least last year. The sky's the limit for this guy, Josh.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he did so much for Auburn. He's literally like a Swiss Army knife. He's a plug and play type of guy, and it's just everything he did was so electric. And everything I've heard about Malcolm Simmons this offseason is that he's just gotten better. He's gotten more knowledgeable of the playbook of his routes and what to do when he's on the field. And he's going to be a very hard person to keep off the field. He just really is.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing is he needs to work on his route running better. And I'm actually surprised. I'm looking at last year's stat. He only had 13 rushing yards last year. I guess there were more pop passes than handoffs.
They were more sweet. So, they're more like wide receiver sweep passes.
Yeah,
definitely. But I think he had a quiet 451 receiving yards. I didn't realize it was that many. He was averaging over 10 yards a catch, and that's definitely very good for a true freshman.
Yep. And then the wide receiver that every Auburn fan is just over the moon with is one Cam Coleman, our previous 5-star wide receiver coming out of high school. Just did not disappoint in season one. Didn't have a breakout season as far as like his stats don't jump off the page on you, but
his potential jumps off the page.
Yeah. And there at the end of the season, he was a touchdown machine.
Yes.
I mean, he
scored 2 in a row against Texas A&M.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's just the upside with this man. Oh my goodness! Is just you literally cannot put it into words. I mean, the closest thing I can think of is what Alabama fans were able to witness physically with Ryan Williams as a true freshman. Yeah. But I feel like that's the best of Ryan Williams we're going to see. We have yet to see the best of Cam Coleman.
That's a hot take. I think you might be right in that sense. It's hard to, I don't know. Ryan Williams could be amazing when it's all said and done, but
I think he's very good.
I think you have,
but I think we've seen the best.
Yeah, and the funny thing is these two wide receivers are going to be talked about for years to come. They're going to be talked in the same breath as long as they continue to match each other. It's going to be talked about because both had similar freshman years as far as their yardage and touchdown rate. And at one point, we all thought that Ryan Williams was going to be a part of that class and was going to make the Freeze 5. And he didn't end up signing, and he went to Alabama, obviously. And so I think it's going to be interesting that they are always going to be connected at the hip. It's kind of like when Julio Jones and AJ Green were in college together, and
That's
it was
true.
they were just 1A and 1B. It just depends on what kind of receiver you like.
Julio, AJ. It's just that's all you heard week in and week out.
Yeah. And Ryan Williams is a different wide receiver than those two wide receivers, but still,
Yes.
I think that level of excitement. So, in addition to that, Auburn added probably one of the most exciting freshman wide receivers that we've had in a while, minus the freeze forward last year, in Sam Turner, who was a 3-star. Did he get upgraded to a 4-star? I can't remember.
He did get upgraded to a 4-star,
Okay.
yes.
So for a majority of his high school year, senior year, he was a 3-star wide receiver in Georgia and was killing everyone. Like just playing against defensive backs that are going to be playing on Saturday and Sunday. And he just dominated them all year. And so Sam Turner is one of those guys to where if there was somebody that I personally think is going to have a huge year, it would be him. But we'll get more to that. But I mean, the dude, let's see here, as a junior had almost 1,000 yards. As a senior, he had 1,100 yards and 7 touchdowns. And
17 touchdowns.
17 touchdowns. Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for correcting that. That's a big difference.
Him a lot.
And he finished with the career receiving touchdown record, all state and all region for 6-4 selection for the Panthers. The dude is just a baller, and we've seen some of his highlights in the spring. Now we've seen other wide receivers highlights in the spring, and they haven't quite ever lived up to the hype. But this feels different.
When it comes to another promising, big-bodied freshman receiver, I definitely think Sam Turner has the edge on breakout potential. But in terms of will there be a surprise in Auburn's passing game, like we have on the ticker? I'm just jumping ahead right now because
I was about to say let's table that real quick. We'll get to that. Let's first talk about who is going to be Auburn's leading receiver this year. Who do you think it's going to be, Josh?
That one's really tough. I think Jackson Arnold is already building such a strong relationship with Cam Coleman that I definitely think it's going to be Cam Coleman with Eric Singleton, like bringing up the rear very closely.
Okay. Bringing up the rear as in second place or?
Yeah, second place receiving.
Okay. Okay. See, that's honestly, that's what I was thinking. It feels like Cam Coleman is ready to just take over and just be the most dominant receiver we have ever seen at Auburn.
Yes.
And Eric Singleton is very talented. It just doesn't seem like he is the kind of receiver that's going to jump off the page stat-wise in this Auburn offense. So I agree with you. I think it's going to be Cam Coleman. It's hard to pick against Cam and the potential we saw there, specifically at the end of the season where he just was cooking everybody. So, but let's go ahead and go on to your favorite topic here. Will there be a surprise in Auburn's passing attack? More specifically on the wide receiver side of things. Let's
yes,
we're not going to talk about quarterbacks right now.
No, that's going to be later. But my surprise receiver, I actually think he's going to finish third in receiving this year. It's Perry Thompson.
Whoa.
Perry Thompson. No, that like when at the beginning of the video when I kept saying that I've been seeing nothing but videos of one specific receiver in general is Perry Thompson. The dude's route running looks insane, looks incredibly crisp. He is reaching out. He's laying out for every ball that's thrown his way. He's going up for the 50-50 balls. I mean, Perry Thompson looks like what Seth Williams could have been if Seth Williams tried. Perry Thompson is trying, and he is succeeding. Yes. But Perry Thompson is going to be Auburn's third leading receiver in 2025.
Wow. That's interesting because, man, he would definitely be somebody that snuck up on the opponents. Now, all Auburn fans know.
Listen, he was a 5-star for a reason.
a high 4-star, 5-star on some recruiting services, and was the first flip in the recruiting class, ahead of
Marcus
DeMarcus
Riddick.
Riddick, and ahead of Cam Coleman. So Perry Thompson kind of started that whole ball rolling of flipping. So I wish nothing but the best for him, but I don't think it's going to be him. I gave mine away earlier. I think it's going to be Horatio Fields. I don't think it's going to be crazy, but I think he will be the third leading receiver, and he very well may have more touchdowns than anybody in the receiving room.
That's actually, I did not expect to hear that nonsense come out of your mouth. I did not.
Hey, only time will tell. We're not experts in any of this. This is just two fans' opinion. You know, one fan is right and one fan is wrong.
That's all it ever is. Sometimes we're both
and that's
wrong.
just how it is. Yeah, sometimes a majority of the time we're both wrong. Let's just be honest here.
We're just having fun. We're just shooting the shit. It's okay.
Yep. So, okay, now leading up to our last topic, what is our overall expectations for this receiving room? Like, what should we expect?
I expect to see moderate improvement in the receiving room. I think we have a quarterback with a much higher ceiling than our last quarterback over the last couple of years. I think
real quick, 1 second. Sorry, I got to interrupt you here because not only does he have a higher ceiling, he has a much higher floor. Okay. I'm sorry. He is a 5-star plus quarterback coming out of high school. Peyton Thorne was a nobody that came from the Big Ten. Continue.
It's true.
Sorry.
I'm just saying, I just feel like all around, I know this is going to be two different topics. I think our offensive line is in a better position than they were last year. I think our quarterback is in a much better position than our quarterback was last year. And it has to do with the offensive line, which is going to allow our receivers to do their job better. We just need Jackson Arnold to make his decisions, which all the videos we've seen, he's making very quick decisions and getting the ball out of the friggin' pocket. So I expect improvement from our receivers. I expect them to be our leading group on our offense, which is kind of hard to say because I love running the ball. I love our running backs. I think our wide receivers are going to be our bread and butter this year. 110%.
I agree. And like you said, it all hinges on quarterback play. But as our viewers know historically, if you've been following our podcast for a while now, and to the newcomers, welcome. We are not Peyton Thorne fans. We would have much rather seen Hank Brown all year last year and just dealt with the growing
pains.
Let
a youngin make mistakes rather than the super senior making mistakes.
Exactly. But with all that being said, like you said, Jackson Arnold looks like he's making throws and decisions very quickly. I saw one pass where, and again, it's spring ball. I get it. But he had one pass where it was less than 2 seconds and he was throwing to the end zone to Cam Coleman, or it was Sam Turner. I can't remember who. It was just, I mean, like, who cares if the line is holding up if you're getting rid of the ball that quickly? You know, I agree our offensive line is going to be better. More of that to come. We haven't talked about that position group. We might do that one next. Who knows? But I think you're right. This year, the wide receiver room is going to be Auburn's bread and butter. And it's all going to hinge on the quarterback play. But this receiving room is just, it was the hype of last year's recruiting class, the Freeze 4. And it just really feels like Hugh Freeze, for a reason, wants to give these young men the ball. And when you add Eric Singleton and you add Horatio Fields, it is just going to be absolutely dynamic. There's not going to be enough balls to go around. Okay.
And you take into consideration adding in former 5-star Jackson Arnold, current 5-star Deuce Knight, he's definitely making an emphasis on the passing game. It's quite apparent.
Yep. I think this year we may see something that we've never seen at Auburn, and we may have 2 1,000-yard receivers.
That is ludicrous. That just isn't going to happen.
I'm
It's
just
not gonna
saying.
happen.
Okay. So again, for those that don't know, I'm a pessimist, but during the spring and summer, I tend to bug or in the
Yes.
off season, should I say, because I did it with basketball as well, which I came close on that. But I tend to bug during the off season, and I just feel so good about this season and the passing game and what it is going to mean for Auburn moving forward, that it is going to be some of the most explosive passing game in the SEC this year. I really think
Cameron's
so.
opinions will change. I will guarantee it, and you will see it firsthand in our videos during the season. Cameron's opinions are going to change.
Yeah.
I will, if it gets to it, I will share our group chat during football games so they can see your pessimism.
Dude, yeah. No, this is the guy who in the 2010 Iron Bowl is hugging the arm of the couch and just saying, why?
This is also the guy that said he didn't like Cam Newton because he was a run-first quarterback.
That was, now, real quick, to justify
you might as well have been calling Cowherd that year, Cameron. You're so down on him, it's ridiculous.
To justify that, I agree. I said those things. I was down on Cam Newton, but that was before the season, and that was before we ever saw him in an Auburn uniform, to be fair. And you can agree with that.
Yeah, that's also like telling a cop that you meant to go 55 miles an hour, even though you saw the speed limit sign.
No.
So I didn't mean the speed, officer.
No. I was against Cam Newton. I did not like his game. And I am not too small of a man to admit that. Unlike someone you mentioned in Colin Cowherd.
He's a
okay.
Snake.
So, he is.
What a joke.
He's terrible. So yes, my opinion will change, and there may come a time this season where based off of my text, based off of what I am saying, we may have the worst team in the world. It may seem like, and we could be undefeated at the time. It's just how it happens.
Cameron will act like we're reliving 2012 again. He will act that way at some point. Guarantee it.
And on that sour note, War Eagle, Josh.
War damn Eagle.
Here comes Davis. Oh my God! Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game.